Hello, it is 7 o'clock. Hello, Gina. I love that everyone's on time. Mom, are you the other person? Who is my other person? Hello. Yes, yay! All right, family time. Love it. Did you guys get lots of snow over there? Oh, I've got to mute this. Mom, are you the other person? Who is my... There we go. All right. Now we're muted. Did you both get lots of snow? We only got a couple inches over here. Just a couple. Yes. Well, hopefully Marley's with you, Gina. This will be a fun one, I think. Collage is easy. You can have it be as simple or complicated as you want. Yeah, Mom, you did too. Lots of snow. So collage can be as simple or as complicated as you want. You can use whatever you have. I like it as a way of just kind of freeing up my creative mind. It helps me use scraps and junk I have. It's just a different kind of creative form that doesn't require special tools. Doesn't require anything special. You just need a little bit of time and some glue. Doesn't have to be glue stick. It could be any kind of glue and something to glue onto. So with that, I say, let's jump right on in. This is one of my art journals I've made, handmade art journals. And I wanted to start, I marked them all. I marked my pages here. Okay. I wanted to start here. My ruler is attacking me. To kind of give you a high-level understanding of collage. So this card right here, this is just a tiny, small collage. I took a playing card, I cut it apart. I used a book page, I used washi tape, I used a different sticker. I used pieces of the card I cut up and made something new out of the pieces. It still kind of looks like a playing card, but it is pieces of a card and other things. So that's a simple form of collage. This is collage. This was just really super random sketching. I called this doodle sketch. There are different things glued on here. There's a map page. There's some music paper glued onto this piece, painted on here. I used stencils on here. I did hand doodling on here, right? So that's a whole bunch of different things. I would call this more of a mixed media collage, right? Lots of different things that I used, again, just to be creative, let my creative side work, and nothing fancy. But it becomes then a piece of its own art made from other things. I also did this, which is a flower and a butterfly, and this was kind of a mosaic type of a collage, right, where I had an image and then I used scraps of things I already had to make it into the larger image. I know when I did my little art classes this summer with Marley and Hudson, Art with Auntie, we did this, and Nana, you were probably there too. And I wanted to read to you the definition of collage, just because I think it's kind of cool. Collage is a technique of art creation, primarily visual, but also found in music, by which art results from an assemblage of different forms, creating a new whole. All right, so here this is different pieces, creating a new one. The earlier image, you saw the same thing. Even just a little playing card, right? Same thing. So hopefully you have just something you can glue on, and then some scraps of whatever. It could be from a magazine. It could be, which I have here, some pieces from magazines. This is just this is a clothing advertisement, right? At book pages, because I always have book pages. You never know when you might want them, from a book that I used the cover for. Well, we have Terry too. Awesome. And then all kinds of random, just scraps of stuff, right? So nothing fancy. I've got colors in here, whatever. If you have little scraps of paper at home, magazines at home, anything works. Mail, junk mail is another great one, another great use for junk mail. So anything goes, really. So I thought, that page was put in upside down, that we could just do a quick collage. So whatever you have, it doesn't have to be fancy. And however you want to do it. You could do an abstract one like I showed. You could do a design one that I showed to make it like a mosaic. I'm actually going to use this butterfly pattern, I think, as inspiration. And then just kind of collage from there, however I want to do it. So I'm just going to rough sketch this. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And it might go off the page, doesn't matter. All right, there's my butterfly. And it kind of comes in here. And then I've got my other wing. All right, and then here's the abdomen of the butterfly. And then we'll make that and like that. And in here, maybe it comes in. This was more of an angle. Now it's less of an angle, but that's fine. Here's the abdomen, right? It doesn't have to be anything. Perfect. And I'm using a paper with a pattern already on it, or words actually, but you could use plain paper, like I said, anything you have. Yes, aren't these fabulous nails? They're super holographic. You know I love my fancy nails. So, and then I'm going to use some washi tape for mine. I think the paper and just all my other random papers. Right, so now I'm just going to lay things down. It's nothing fancy. You just have fun with it. When I think about collage, and again, this is stuff I talked about in my little Art with Auntie class. When I think about collage, you want to think about colors. And colors, you might want to do a monochromatic, so I could do all kinds of shades of oranges and reds. I might want to do complementary, which would help certain colors pop out. And so complementary might be an orange and a blue, or orange and a purple would be complementary colors to each other, since I'm starting with the orange. Either one of those work really well in collage. Also think about texture, right? So I've got this kind of shiny texture, kind of sparkly, but it also has like a feeling to it, right? That it's not as smooth like metallic, it's a sparkly kind of grit. So that has a texture. I might use, smooth glossy pages. I could use pages that are rougher, and that would give me texture in my work. Texture always makes things a little bit more interesting. So especially in collage, I encourage you to challenge yourself with some texture. Again, nothing fancy. It's just whatever I find that I think might work. That. Let's see what I have in here. Gina, does Marley remember doing this? I think she had one that she did that turned out pretty cool, if I remember. I think she kind of liked collage. Good starting piece. I think I'm kind of having a feeling of monochromatic-ish here. Right, to make my butterfly. I could use, let me get my scissors. It doesn't have to all be ripped. You can cut, you can use it as is. Again, it doesn't matter. Just whatever you want to do. Because collage doesn't have to be fancy. It could be. You could be very, take lots of time and be really methodical with it. could have a whole laid out plan, but like I said, I like to use collage more. It's just a way to kind of think about my scraps and have me thinking in an artistic way that's different. All right, so glue that down. Boom. Oh, good. Marley remembers. Good job, Marley. I know you made a cute one last time. I'm going to cut this up to kind of indicate 2 pieces of abdomen. So I think that's fun. All right, and just nothing fancy. Just simple, be creative, allow yourself to have fun and try new things. My mom has given me a collage book that has doors in it. That's a really fun one, right? So I could make some kind of interesting background and then actually have a door that opens. That's an interactive collage. That's always really cool. Won't do that today, but that's another cool one. All right, here I'm just cutting these into little pieces. Not even sure entirely where I'll use them, but again, this gives me some texture. Then maybe I'll kind of lay them out, see what I think. Ooh, I like that. Right there. What does monochromatic mean? Monochromatic means one color, but it's typically shades of one color. So orange, brown, red would be essentially a monochromatic scheme, a kind of all shades of orange. You could do red, right? That would be like anywhere from a light pink to a bright fuchsia to a regular red to even like a cranberry red. So, and anything in between there. So monochromatic is using the same color family, same color, yeah, same color family. So same shades of the same color, I guess is the better way to say it. And that's pretty good. That down. Did Marley still have school today? Marley, did you still have school today? Even though it was snowy? We didn't get as much snow here, just a couple inches. Yep, you have school, yeah. We were talking the other day about how kids today just are never going to get that school called off like we used to, because now they can all, school can always say we're just going to cancel in-person learning and still have remote learning. But it sounds like you went all the way into school today. Mommy worked from home though. Smart. Yeah, I work from home all the time. I'll be working from home until probably June. How crazy is that? Maybe even later. I don't know. We'll see. Nana worked from home too. Right, Nana. This isn't staying as flat as I want it to, so I'm going to put a little more glue, right? Multiple glues. Boom and boom. It's a little better. Might still be popping up, I don't know. And sometimes you might use a hole puncher, which is what I'm looking for in my little basket of hole punchers. This is the one I want. Oh, that didn't punch through very well, did it? we go. Have you been using all your cool art supplies, Marley? You missed, it was your mom's birthday, so I know you missed it probably because of your mom's birthday, but we did watercolor last week, and I know you have watercolor, so maybe you can go back and watch it sometime. I know Nana said she loved it. She learned lots from it, so I think you would enjoy it too. It would give you some ideas for working with your watercolor. Yes, Marley's got her art out. Good job, Mars. All right, just a good kind of before you go to bed. What can you make that's kind of creative, relaxing? I like it after a long day of work, which I did have today. It wasn't a hard day, but it was a long day. My new job is definitely, there's more demand than we have consultants to fulfill the need. So I find myself really busy, and I've helped kind of build out a whole new project tracker for each advisor team that I'm working with. As they're doing their work, I give them assignments and I track it in this little spreadsheet thing. My boss and I put it together. And it's good, but it's still really manual. We're looking at ways to make it a little more automated. And it's nice, but I have to update it for every single team, and I have to make sure I give them homework, and there's not links in it, so I have to go out and find all the links to the resources. So it just takes a little extra time. It's really helpful, but it's a little bit time consuming on my end. So it's like I have, 3 or 4 calls in a day, and then it takes me another 2 hours just to get all their stuff put together. What glue is this? This one is Elmer's School Glue. This is called Art Glitter Glue. Mom actually got me this because I had asked for it. It's not a glitter glue. It's just called Art Glitter Glue. It works really good on gluing anything. It's a good kind of multi-purpose glue that dries clear. So I like it. It's pretty relatively thin, but nice and strong. Really want the word rust in my thing. I'll pull that out. So how are you feeling, Mom? Still good after your COVID shot? I talked to someone today, an advisor today, who had a COVID shot, which you're not supposed to get if you have COVID. And he had COVID, but he didn't know it. And then he started to feel sick. He thought it was side effects from the shot, but then it didn't really go away after a few days. So he decided he maybe should get a COVID test done, and it turns out that he has COVID. So if you get it at the same time as you already have COVID kind of starting out in your system, apparently it doesn't help you, or maybe it helped it be less. I don't know. He wasn't too sure on that, but I thought that was interesting. But he said he's feeling, after, I don't know, 5 days of having kind of a bad head cold, he said he's feeling much better. But I thought it was quite interesting, because you're really not supposed to get the shot, I guess, if you have COVID. Let's see, what else do I want to put on here? See? Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. Just fun, easy stuff. Let's maybe do some, cut these pieces off. Some thin strips, I think, might be good. I could shade these if I wanted to. I could rip them if I wanted to. Just a little bit of glue. And glue stick, liquid glue, either one, doesn't matter. It all works. And I like using a variety of shapes. You could do really consistent sizes and shapes if you wanted to do, again, something really very structured. I'm doing mine a little more creative and freeform. Just depends on what you have, what you feel like doing. I've seen people do, and it really looks cool. They might take like a circle punch and punch out a whole bunch of circles, right? And then they would do their collage with just circles. That's really cool. Or squares, right? And you layer them and you might form an image or design. Like I've seen rainbows and flowers and things just made with circles. Flowers especially. There's a woman who just does some amazing, amazing collage art. And what she actually does, so we talked about the jelly plate. You did fine with the COVID chat. Good job. She uses the jelly plate and just does, you know, you saw when we put the paints down and we pulled paints off. And she'll do that. And then she rips those up into, you know, just little, I guess, rectangular kind of strips typically is what I've seen her do. And she then puts those together, makes beautiful, like, flower arrangement designs. Just amazing. I am pretty partial to floral. I love floral design art. Some people are anti-floral, not me. I love it. I like it on my shirts. I like it on my art. I love floral. But it's not everybody's cup of tea, I suppose. But that's what she does. And it's just so beautiful. And she sells that and makes, well, she sells classes to teach people how to do it, of course. But she also sells both the little scrappy pieces if you want to do it yourself. She sells those. And she sells, of course, the completed artwork as well. So lots of different things you could do just with what you have. And I do like that. Kind of if you're playing with that gel plate and doing all that stuff and you're like, well, what do I do with all these? Especially if you have, some of them might just be cool art prints in and of themselves, but you might have other scraps of, you know, when I pulled the ink off or rolled it off and it was just kind of extra stuff. That's a great one to use if you're not sure what to use the extra for, collage. Collage is just the answer. Use it for collage. Is it starting to get busy by you guys now, Gina? Now that it's a new year and people are starting to get their stuff in order before tax time? I think usually this feels like the busy time of year for advisors. And it gets even more busy, I think, as we get into March when they all should have their final statements, right? February is a little bit early for some, but probably people calling and setting appointments. When's your next shot, Mom? I know you have to have 2. I've seen some of the information looks like the second ones are harder to get in sometimes. March 5th. Oh, just a couple weeks. That's good. I'm glad they have it on the calendar for you. Every day when I watch the news when I'm working out, it feels like there's not quite enough shots to go around. At least that feels like the story they're telling everyone. Right? We ordered so many and not enough have shown up. I don't know. It's always so doom and gloom. I don't know why they have to do that to the news all the time. What else? Right, so see, mine is very monochromatic, right? I've got oranges and browns. That's been my theme on this one. Let's see what else I've got that's in that color family. Ooh, this is kind of fun. This is, I'm almost afraid to cut this up, but it's for using, not for saving. And then once Mom gets her other shot, we're dropping all the kids up by her. That's right. She can have them for months, right? To make up for all the time she couldn't have them. That's right, Gina. This I actually bought from somebody on Etsy. This is, I think, a paper bag or that packing, like this. A packing material that, you know, your Amazon or whatever gets packed in, just like this. This woman ran it through. She had a big embossing folder. I don't have any this big. Well, first she, I think, waxed it. So she got this beeswax and melts it with an iron, and it gives it this kind of transparency, right? Gives it some transparentness, and as opposed to this, which is quite opaque. So it gives it, you can probably see the light through there a little bit, maybe. And then she ran it through an embossing folder to give it this super cool texture. And I'm not going to cut all of it up, but I'm going to cut a piece of it off. Make some squares, I think. Or rectangles. Yeah, Mom, how are you going to celebrate getting all your shots done? You gonna go party somewhere? Meet people? Leave your house, hopefully? Like Gina said, then we can send the kids over. Don't have to worry. Feels like there's less and less COVID being reported now in schools, even though there's supposedly this whole new super contagious strain. I know Hudson School was proud to announce that they have currently no one with COVID, no one staying home because of COVID exposure. Like, everybody's back, which is good. And I was looking at Washington, D.C. information. Kind of the same thing is being reported there, which is good. Before we leave, we have to have, unless the rules change, which of course you never know, but we'll have to have a COVID test done before we leave in order to get into DC. So that's interesting. Well, this I just like put in a random place that isn't even the butterfly. See, it gets so crazy you don't even follow the pattern. Marley likes emojis. That's good. I didn't see any emojis, but that's awesome. Who doesn't love emojis? What else is going on, ladies? Anything fun? Gina, did you do anything for your birthday? You like your new rug, I hope? I put ours by our back door, which we very much needed one. Between everybody's boots in that little area, oh, we had such a mess. And puddles, and I'm tripping over shoes because we have this little teeny tiny rug, and so everyone's piling their boots right there. It was a problem. It's much better now with the rug. We can kind of spread things out. I kept the little rug, and I pick up my boots and kind of put it on there away from the door once I get them taken off. So much better. So much better. Went to breakfast and had dinner and cake with kids. Aw, that's so nice. For Craig's birthday, his big 5-0, we dropped off Hudson at J.K. Lee to do, it wasn't Taekwondo. They were having like a parents' day out, I guess. Kind of, I think it was 3-hour little playtime. And Hudson took his school BFF, and they ran around. They had pizza for lunch. They had a cookie before they left. What else did they do? They did an obstacle course that they build in the dojo, and then they did Nerf war. So Hudson brought two Nerf guns. His friend brought a Nerf gun, right? And they did that, so that was cool. Hudson loves his Nerf. Then, and while that was happening, Craig and I went to lunch, and we, red velvet cake is the best. Craig and I went to lunch at Portello's, and he had chocolate cake there. And then we just kind of ran around. I told him I'd buy him some clothes or something for his birthday, but he didn't really find anything that he wanted. But we drove around Brookfield and stuff. Then we picked up Hudson, dropped off his friend at his friend's house. Then we came home, let the poor dog out really quick. Then we, sorry, I'm grabbing something from over here. Then we cleaned up and went to meet Terry at Outback Steakhouse, which was really good. And Hudson loves steak, so that was fun, and Craig had that. And then he got free birthday ice cream with chocolate sauce. And then we went to Terry's house for cake, which was crazy. And then, well, so much dessert. But Craig's friend Tim and his wife Joelle were supposed to come, so Craig could at least have one of his friends. But it was snowing all day on Saturday, if you remember, just all day long. Of course, right when we went to dinner, it stopped. But it snowed all day, so I told Craig, I'm like, just call them and tell them not to come, because they live in Madison. And I'm like, they're going to have to leave at like 1 o'clock to get here by 4 in this ridiculous weather, because it was really pretty bad. And he called them and asked them, and they're like, yeah, it's not great. And he said, well, just do it another time. So that was kind of a bummer. But he had, like 50 pounds of cake for his 50th birthday, it felt like. So it's pretty funny. So this that I'm using is glitter drops. It's a Nouveau. It's like a glitter glue. Stickles would work too if you had stickles. You could even mix your own if you just had glue, and you could just put the glue down and sprinkle glitter on it if you had that. So it doesn't, again, have to be anything fancy. This just happens to be what I have. This one's a little bit, they all seem like they have different viscosity or thickness, which makes me a little crazy. Some of them squish out really easy. Maybe it's just the age. Some of them come out a little bit hard, but that's okay. All right, so that's that. I love my extra texture. Now I'm just going to take my Sharpie marker and hopefully not stick my arm in this glue and make my antennas. I think there's a fancier name for butterfly antennas, but I don't know what it is. Hudson would know, I'm sure. Right, just to now kind of make the shape a little bit more defined. And then I might add just some veining in here. Just, oh, I got a little bit of glue on it, of course. Let's wipe it off on a different page here. There, right, just to make it kind of interesting. And that's the whole thing with collage. It doesn't have to be at all fancy. It's just a way to be creative and quick. If you're trying to commit to being creative and having a creative practice or outlet every day, this is a great thing to do, because like I said, it's easy. You don't have to have supplies if you don't have them. Just gets you thinking outside the box a little bit. There. I don't know, that was kind of fun. I'll call that done for today. I could always go back and add some things in. Some of these little pieces don't want to stay glued down. I might glue some more down. And then, of course, the last thing you do is sign and date your art. That's always a good thing to do. I recommend it. I have this nice jelly pen. I'm going to call this Butterfly Blitz. You don't have to name it, but you can. And this is me. And today is 2021. See, and it's like I'm never quite done. I'm like, oh, I could add more. This is a shimmer brush. All right, so it comes with this like shimmery color already in it. These are fun. Add a little shimmer and sparkle a little bit more because I have some already. Oh, and that's going to work, I think, really good for this. Just kind of in the spot where the antenna might be thicker. Huh, there we go. I like it. There, oh, there's the emojis. And spring. Yes, Mom. And spring. Reminds us of spring. Well, there we go. Quick and easy. It's about 30 minutes, a little bit more or less. I think that was fun. Next week, maybe we'll do stenciling. I know Marley has some stencils. You can find stencils really inexpensively. You can use even just templates. I had a circle template, and I'll show you somewhere. This you could use as a stencil. I've even, taken paper and cut shapes out and use that as a stencil. So you could fold, let me show you, just to give you some ideas for what you might want to have next week. So we'll just use a piece of scratch paper, right? So, I don't want to fold it that way, I want to fold it this way. So you could make just a regular paper stencil. Right? I could say I'm going to do some hearts. I'm going to do a small heart. Right? And this is just scrap paper. A medium heart. And a large heart. I could use this part as a stencil if I wanted. And I can use this. And I could use it just like this, or I could just use the pieces. All right, so you can make your own stencil, easy peasy. So that's, let's do some stenciling. You can do stenciling in kind of a collage or mixed media too. Again, stenciling is a fun thing to just, be creative with. You don't have to have any kind of rhyme or reason necessarily. I have a whole variety of stencils. It's another thing I like to do to just be creative. You could use collage and stencil, which is really fun, and I've done lots of that, and I'll show you some samples of that, kind of collage and stencil together. And maybe that's what we'll do next week instead of just pure collage. But of course, you can do whatever you'd like. You could just use stencil. Right here's some, I think, really cheap ones that I got, like AliExpress or something. I think so. They don't have to be. I have really big stencils, but they wouldn't have to be big stencils. They can just be little, right? You can see a lot of these are very well loved. I enjoy my stencils. I like the little ones on cards or smaller art pieces, and then I have big ones when I'm doing like a 12 by 12 page. So all kinds of fun. I even used stencil on the watercolor too. Which was fun. So again, Marley, make sure you check out the watercolor because you'll get some good ideas with the tools that you have. You have some cheap stencils too, Gina? Or Marley? All right, so fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took some time for yourself to just relax and be creative. make yourself some art. You know, you can keep it in your book. Like this is just a book of Lisa's random art from whenever. So you could do that, or you can throw it away if you just want to throw it away. Whatever you want to do with it, right? It's you and it's your creative outlet. So hopefully you had some time to be creative today, and we will see you again next week Tuesday. But tomorrow is Win It Wednesday. So tomorrow, I'll be doing my drawing for people who commented on the video. Every time you comment, you get an entry. So again, Marley, if you watch the watercolor between now and tomorrow, and you make a comment, even if you don't watch the whole thing, you'd get entered for tomorrow. So there's my little tip. Your favorite so far is this one? Awesome. Nana, I think, said the watercolor was her favorite so far. So I think you'll like that one too. Lots of different things we tried that day. So I'll see you. Tomorrow may not be live. I may just do it and post it. But I'll see you live next week if you join. Good night, ladies. Love you.